girls, it gives them a classification. So that means they got the biggest. And then mothers are 18 boys were fortunate enough to be the runner-ups in Asian basketball. With the time change, we had one thing that happened. Evidently, one of our players decided he was late. He was early instead of late. One of our starters didn't show up till halftime. We still only lost 16 first in the state championship with 80 boys, which is wonderful. I tell you, very competitive. And then in our 10U boys, Mullins won. Mullins Station played average. Y'all big with average. Here, the state football, basketball is one of the best in the state. So for us to compete at that level and come home with the big trophies, very good. A lot for us to do something. Like with the city hall or the recreation center recognition. I can get the stuff to Chuck.
The motion. Motion and second discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those likewise. Ayes have it. Ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, item A and B are still tabled. That brings us to item C. Just a reminder you and those in attendance, these that are first reading and implemental prior to action council, second reading title is sufficient. First reading of ordinance 2026 4, about the 10-year elevated Marion County Comprehensive Plan in accordance with South Carolina Code of Laws, Title 6, Chapter 29, Section 510, and other matters related to B. First reading of ordinance 2026-05, ordinance to ratify the current Marion zoning ordinance originally adopted in or around 2006 and ratify any and all amendments adopted since its inception. Item E. First reading of ordinance 2026-06, ordinance without certain conditions and requirements for the establishment, maintenance, and operation of renewable energy systems in Marion County, and other matters related to. We have first reading of ordinance 2026-07, ordinance to regulate the establishment and operation of public and private cemeteries in Marion County, for zoning approval, health and safety requirements for critical care, and other matters related thereto. Thank you.
Committee report number 1, have that next time.
Number 2, there
Give you what they. Ms. Smith.
Yes,
Ms. Robinson.
Thank you, sir. I'm just putting the day around. My name is Michelle. But I'm the Family Violence Program Director for Peace Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Assault. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to the prevention of sexual assault, family violence, child abuse, and all the community violence. And we know April is coming, and April is our sexual assault awareness month. And so we just wanted to come out and let you know before April some of the things that we're doing. And I actually, we all have a copy of some of the things that we are doing. And a lot of times people think sexual assault is just for women, that it happens to women, but it happens to men as well. And I do have some alarming stats that even include Marion County, and I want to share that with you all. But first, I want to thank you all so much for the things that you do for the coalition. When we have people like yourself that commit to anything that you can do for us, even if it's your presence at some of our meetings or workshops or any kind or any funding that you provide to the organization, those are things that go towards victims. So we help victims if they need to get out of that dangerous situation, we can help them to get into another apartment or away from the state, the county, or what have you. We have shelters that they can go into. We have counseling that we provide, and it's all free services to our victims. We also go to court with them. We help them with orders of protection. we give them hope. Because a lot of times when they come to us, they feel hopeless. They feel that no one cares about them, no one matters. And then sometimes they leave law enforcement and they have to go to the clerk of court or they have to go to the magistrate and they're so confused. But when they come to us, it's like it's a release to know that there's someone out there that can help. And again, these are things that are needed in our county. I just wanted to share a few facts I just pulled up in reference to South Carolina. Actually, South Carolina had 4,000 reports of sexual assault. And again, this was reported, not the ones that were not reported. But just in 2025, 4,000 cases of rape or assault, sexual assault that was reported last year. Also, some of the things that we had like 325 victims identified for sex trafficking, and most of them were children. And I'm not going to go through all the stats, but I just feel that was something that is so alarming that it's still happening even today. And one of the things that I pulled up in reference to Marion County, and again, this is on the internet, it's not anything that I made up, but and I'm not calling any names. But in 2026, and here we are in March, there was a Marion police officer that was arrested for rape of 2 children, 2 counts of rape. And again, a person is innocent, the person is guilty, but this information is so alarming. School sexual assault lawsuits that are going on, filed in January, alleging an 8-year-old girl at Marion Intermediate School was sexually assaulted multiple times by other students. A former educator accused of sexual crimes, February 2026 in Marion County. These are things in Marion County. And that's why we like to go into so many different presentations and talk with people. Because a lot of times people think it is not here, but it is. It's evidence. And that's why it's so important that we continue the services that we have. Because can you imagine if this was your son or your daughter or your wife or your granddaughter and you're in a hospital because someone died? We go to that hospital and we talk with them, we support them. When they have to go and take the rape test, we're there with them if they want us to be there. These are things that sometimes they have no one but us. And one person just shared with me, she said, Ms. Michelle, you put me in the mind of a grandmother. You're so nurturing, you're so kind, you don't judge me. You support me in any way that you can. And that's what we do. That's what we do on all our families, all our victims. And that's why we're so grateful to know that we have people such as yourself that commit your time in anything that you do. Because I've had some form of connection with all of them. And I'm so grateful to know that you stand with us, not behind us, not you stand with us and doing what we can to reduce the sexual assault and get that awareness out. And again, our theme this year is every story matters, every voice counts. And it truly does, because when we know that there's someone out there that can help someone else, especially when you're going through such a trying time, it gives such a joy to know that you can take a person to that service. And they, again, it's free. And we've actually been in Marion County for over 30 years. Actually, this is our 40th anniversary for the entire coalition this year. It was founded in '86 by an executive director, Ellen Hamilton, who is so very passionate about what she does. And so it resonates in her, even in us. And so we really enjoy doing what we can to help someone. I always tell people when we've done it, the least we've done to me. And so thank you so much, so very much for all that you've done for us during the year and even in the future. So thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you for letting me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Administrative update.
I was under here, we had talked last meeting and we told that. Point county wants to do the capital project sales tax, the bids, so they can get their work started. Sounds like, might be a little bit more time to kind of get those things together, so we'll delay that one more meeting, but if we can, really 26, we need to make sure we do want those three numbers. The Mullins, should be talking about it today, and then it's already on there. To hear, make sure that we, get those things together so that we can get those three.
We got an updated demo from the course regarding PTOs being presented. There was a misunderstanding about the number of municipalities. They did not include Nichols in this calculation. They were supposed to go back and review the calculations and come back to us with the number.
I haven't seen anything. I wasn't at the meeting when Mr. Siegel was here presenting all that, so I'm not sure. But I haven't received anything from him. I just talked to him again this morning. He's still saying the same thing. It's under the statute and the population totals that we have 6 seats that are on this commission. We have 3 seats that are appointed by the county, 3 seats that are appointed by the municipalities. Based on the percentages of the population, Marion gets 1. Mullins gets 1. Then the other one would be between Sellers and Nichols together. And that's actually what we had the last 2 times that went. So that can work in various different ways. From a timing perspective, I hope it works this way, so I think one I mentioned.
Well, the statute lays out how that individual that's going to represent Sellers and Nichols is supposed to be.
It does, that's what I read.
So that's why I like to see a copy of the actual legal memo from our attorney, so that we can actually have a copy of it for ourselves that explains the process.
Well, it's under the statute.
Well, no, what I'm asking for is paid for this legal advice, actually get advice on the legal paper. So we can actually have a copy of it for ourselves.
I'll ask him for that today, for sure. But it's under the statute, it's again, by the population, Mullins appoints 1, Marion appoints 1. Those 2 members, but then appoint the 1 for Sellers and Nichols. That's what the statute says. So it's not, if the population totals were different, it could be a different way. It's not. There's no population total. Here for those 2 municipalities. Those 2, the member for both of those combined will be appointed by the 2 municipal members that are picked from Marion and Mullins.
Yes, and there's a process that we have to.
The process is just appointing. They would be, once they get slated, once Mullins picks theirs, Marion picks theirs, those 2 people would get together and appoint the 3rd person. That would be from Nichols and Sellers representation. Yes.
So this time frame there, we need to make sure that folks from Nichols and Sellers can have a conversation with the 2 from there and Mullins.
Right, which is, again, why we're trying to wrap all this up, because hopefully both of them will get those 2 folks slated tonight at their meetings, and then tomorrow they can start having that discussion. Yes.
Thank you, I'd like to hear about that. Okay.
The city monthly order. Question comment for the member of the council.
DOC, great work that come back to Paul Richardson Road, that issue that's ongoing there. I want to thank them for their work that they've been doing. I have a question about item D on the order. Well, why are we ratifying?
There is some dispute, I don't want to say dispute, there's some question as to where the existence of the original sign. So to rule out the dispute, there's no other way to do that than to have violence.
If it's an ordinance, it should be a copy of it at the clerk of court.
No, should be a clerk of court. I actually didn't mention that in our legal section. Somebody did mention that last meeting. Court of counsel is what the statute requires. Ordinances to be filed, not the court, the court. Our all ordinances have always been filed with the court of counsel. But it's, the ordinance is there with the clerk. What I'm talking about is an actual signature on the final page of the ordinance isn't there. Nobody knows what that is. So again, ratifying what's there is the only.
So you're saying the clerk of council is not supposed to be to the copy of the ordinance and file it with the clerk of court?
I'm going simply off what the statute requires, and the statute requires for the council to have the ordinances. It doesn't say anything about the clerk of court. Doesn't mean you can't do it. That's why I'm making that distinction. I'm just going simply off what the statute requires.
Well, we got some, just like, efforts, I think. If it's was something with the budget. Copy of state law.
And I always have Mr. Rogers, I'm open for looking and reviewing it, whatever everybody provides, it says differently, but I've read the statute myself, because it came up at the last meeting.
So are there any other ordinances that we have to ratify?
Well, I know. I just bring up what comes to my attention. That's what we're talking about.
Session, economic development, it's not matter. That motion got a second discussion. On her side, everybody wants that. To the executive session, no action was taken, the motion to come out of executive session, back to regular session. So, second, motion got a second discussion. On her side, opposed likewise. That's that. Want to open this up, county?
Do we need to appoint it?
No. Ready to adjourn? I make my way to adjourn.
Second. Adjourn.